Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. We have some very important questions to ask you first before we kick off, and that is, does everyone have a drink? Tea, coffee, prosecco, whatever you need to drink today to sit back and relax. Let's make sure that you have that drink in hand. Okay, so that's the first important one. The second one is, in order for this webinar to be as good as possible, we really need audience participation. Now, no need to worry. There will be no funny magic tricks. We're not going to make you disappear. So we just need you to bring all your creative ideas to help us. And so if I can have a thumbs up in the chat to make sure that I have everyone's participation and collaboration, then we will be ready to kick off. I like it. Okay, fantastic. We are doing great already. Now, let's have a quick look at everything that we're going to be covering in today's webinar. So to kick off, we'll do some quick introductions. So I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and Motherboard, and then I'll also introduce you to our guest speaker for today. She will then talk to you about what you can expect from today's session. We'll then have a really quick video to show you what happened 30 days ago. And then that's where we'll jump into the brainstorming. So this is where we're going to need your help. So on the right-hand side, you'll see that there's the box where you can ask questions or post anything. And you can see, I can see that most of you have already found that. So that's excellent. So that's where you can help to post your ideas. What you will also see on the right-hand side is that there is a poll. So if you don't mind just filling out the poll, tell us what your knowledge is about Work Canvas. We would really appreciate that. And so after the brainstorming, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we can take all the ideas that we all collaborated on and actually put those ideas into action. So we'll do a little exercise. Once that is complete, we'll showcase a couple of use cases of how else you can use the methodology that we showed you today. And then we'll cover off some final thoughts. Now, we won't have enough time to do a full Q&A session today, but feel free to drop any questions you have in the Q&A box, and we will get back to you after the webinar today to answer all the questions that you have. Okay, so without further ado, we are going to start with some introductions. So you will now see our faces. So welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tania. I am the MD at Motherboard, and we are gold partners of Monday.com. And so we are responsible for ensuring that users of Monday.com get the most out of the platform. We also provide services like training, build custom solutions, and do any services related to Monday.com, but that's not why we're here. We are here to show you how you can take your ideas and put them into actions. And so with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to our guest speaker for today, which is Vicky from Monday. Over to you, Vicky.
Hi everyone, thank you Tania. Yes, I'm Vicky. I've been with Monday.com for 2.5 years now. I was originally in the new business team. I've now transitioned to be an account manager, and I specifically work with companies that are looking to use Monday to scale up and grow their businesses. So if you want to go to the next slide, Tania, we can do a little bit about what we're going to see and expect from today. Great. So this webinar, Ideas to Actions. It came about because we had some feedback from customers, myself and Tania, saying that Monday is fantastic for actions. So it's great for once you know what you have to do. Items are actions. It's very structured. It's grids and formats, but it's not very good necessarily for the idea phase. So ideas often come from brainstorming and whiteboarding, and they often come from unstructured work. And Monday isn't necessarily the best platform to enable that back and forth creativity whiteboarding exercise. So we wanted to show you today, Monday.com has got a new product called Work Canvas, and we wanted to show you how we can support your idea phase, transition that into actions on Monday.com, and then transition that obviously into an ultimate outcome. We chose to do a little bit of a meta example today. So the example that we're going to show you shortly is how we're able to brainstorm about how we're able to help customers be able to support their unstructured work and translate it into Monday. And we use the example of this webinar. So shortly you'll see myself and Tania doing a brainstorming session on Monday on Work Canvas on how we're able to show this to customers, how we were able to translate all of those actions in order to create this webinar today into monday.com, and how we were able to produce the webinar. For you guys, it might be something different. It might be a marketing project. It might be just ultimately how you want to grow your business, what projects you're working on. But we really wanted to show you how the unstructured work is able to pair with the structured work on Monday and result in an outcome. So Tania, I don't know if you want to move on to the next slide where we can show a little bit around how we did the initial brainstorming and came up with the idea.
Excellent. Thanks, Vicky. So we're going to show you now a short little video of what happened 30 days ago. Hey, Vicky, how are you doing?
Hi, Tania. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So great catching up with you again. I actually wanted to chat to you because I've been hearing a lot after speaking with a lot of our clients about the struggles that startups face when it actually comes to scaling their businesses. And it seems like they're full of great ideas, but then they often struggle to actually bring them to life.
100%. I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges I've noticed as well, is the difficulty is in actually executing on those great ideas that they have. It's like they're stuck in the ideation phase and they can't quite, make that leap towards the actioning them.
Yes, that's exactly it. I actually think time plays a big role as well. Obviously, they have so much on their plates, like they're doing product development, they're doing marketing, and then everything in between as well. They actually find themselves stretched quite thin on time, and they probably just can't dedicate enough time to actually implementing all those great ideas that they come up with.
Or even if they do find the time, sometimes they'll hit other roadblocks, within the implementation process, whether that's like a lack of resources, lack of technical know-how, or just simply not knowing where to start. The struggle is real.
Hey!
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little flashback in time. Now we're actually going to go into Work Canvas and show you how this works in the real world. So I will be sharing my screen. So if you give me 2 seconds, we will jump straight into it. Excellent. Okay, so the joys of running live webinars. But here we are. Okay, so everyone can now see Work Canvas. So this is how Work Canvas looks. And this is what Vicky and I used to do some brainstorming for planning this webinar. Okay, so firstly, we looked at what we wanted to do. So we had an idea and we started thinking about what is it that we want to do? Why do we want to do it? How do we want to do it? And then when do we want to do it? So firstly, we looked at what we wanted to do. So firstly, we wanted to show how monday.com can be used to take your ideas and put them into actions. And we also wanted to help SMBs get the most out of Monday, help them overcome some challenges, etc. So we put all of our ideas during our discussion on this board to brainstorm some ideas of what we can do to showcase the value of taking ideas and putting them into actions. Now, there's many reasons why we wanted to do this, but mostly we really want to help customers get the most out of the platform. We know it will add value. And because we are passionate about helping SMBs, we can see the value that this can add. Then we also looked at potential ways of how we could do it. So should we do a video? Should we host a webinar? What about some carousel post? What about writing a blog or maybe speaking at a conference? So obviously, because you are here today, the webinar idea won. And then we had some ideas about when we could potentially do it. So while planning this webinar, we then went into the next phase of our brainstorming, which is what are the different stages of planning a webinar? So obviously we need to do some preparation and planning. We then want to promote this webinar, execute our idea, so live on the webinar today, and then afterwards follow up. And what do we do to then speak to the customers and everyone on the call today to then see if you got value from it. Now, what we've done already is we've obviously brainstormed a couple of ideas here just by adding some sticky notes of how we can do it. And this is where we need audience participation. So this is where we need your help. So what we would like to do is, if you were running a webinar, if you were in our shoes today, what are ways that you would promote the webinar? So I will start to think of an idea of how we can promote our webinar, and I will say we will post it on LinkedIn. So if you can post a couple of your ideas of how we can promote our webinar so we can add it to our brainstorming board. We can email some current customers. That's a great one. We can run social media competitions. Any other ideas from the audience of ways that we can promote our webinar? Love that. We can gamify the registration process. We can collaborate with partners. So as you can see, as we're just brainstorming some ideas, we can just add sticky notes to our board and add our ideas. So early access rewards. We can use some influencer marketing. I love that one. So as you can see, there are very many ways of taking your ideas and brainstorming them and putting them onto this work canvas board. So now that we have put our ideas on here, how do we now take them and put them into action items? So very easily we can put this into action items. So what we do is we select our sticky notes, our ideas that we have generated, and we are now going to create a Monday action so that we can add this to our Monday board. So I'm going to create there, I'm going to create an item, and it will now load all my boards on Monday. So this is our webinar board. And because we have brainstormed ideas, which is during the promotion and registration phase, we will select that group. And then since we are still in the planning phase, we haven't started executing, we'll just say that the status of these items are not started. So we are now going to say create items, and what Work Canvas will do is turn these into actions for us. So if we click on this, it will take us directly to our Monday board and our webinar board, and we will see that all these ideas, there we go, all these ideas are now here. So this is not pre-populated. We have just brainstormed during this session some ideas of how to promote our webinar, and we have posted it here. So you can see it. All my typos in here are our ideas. Now, going from idea to actual execution, we are collaborating with Vicky on this. So we are going to invite Vicky as a guest into our board because she is external to our organization. So you can see here I've added Vicky as a guest to our board. And I will now hand over to Vicky to talk you through how she then goes to execute on these items.
Great. So hopefully the share has worked and you can see my screen. So this is my view of Monday from Tania's Monday account. Obviously, I'm an external guest, so you can see here it's popping up saying you're a guest here. And currently, I don't see any items that are on the board. This is because Tania has set up the board specifically in order to collaborate in a controlled way with an external party. For example, you might be externally collaborating with someone and you don't want them to see everything on the board. You might only want them to see specific information, or you might want to hide specific information. Say with this webinar, we might have an assigned budget, but we don't want people to see what that budget is. We only want specific people, or maybe only Tanya, to see that. And the way we've been able to do this is through item level permissions. So Tanya, if you can start assigning me a couple of tasks to do, and then it'll start populating on my side. Perfect. So as you can see here, with the person column, I've been assigned these tasks. So create a detailed webinar agenda and schedule, prepare and design, email current customers, gamify the registration process. I think that's a great suggestion. And early access rewards. So let's say I am collaborating with Tanya on this. I'm an external party. These are all of my tasks. I can't see everything on this board. That is because Tanya has only allowed me to see the certain things that I have been tagged. And the way you can do that is if you go to options and go to board level permissions. You can see here, I don't have access to view all items on the board. I've only got view only items that are assigned to me in the people column. You can also do this on a granular level, determining whether you want people to edit the information or not. But this is a great way for you guys to be able to collaborate with external parties and keep certain information private and collaborate over certain information as well. So let's say I'm here, I'm working on this with Tanya. I'm going to start clicking all of my tasks as done. I can't see sensitive information maybe Tanya wants to hide from me, customer list, budgets, etc. Tanya, I've now done all of the tasks, so I don't know if you want to share your screen again and we can see what it looks like from Work Canvas's perspective.
Excellent. Thank you, Vicky. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to zoom in, and we can now see that as Vicky was updating the actions on her side, it has now also updated it on Work Canvas, so we can see all the tasks that's been done. Now, it's all good and well seeing that these tasks have been done, but now we don't know who has done them, have they uploaded any files. So what you can do is you can just click here and we can actually see who's been assigned. So we can say, show us all of these details, and it will update it. We have also uploaded some images, so we can see if we say email some customers, if we go back to there, here is the image that we've uploaded to email some customers, and there's a little eye. So if we click on that eye, what it will do is it will actually now bring in that image from our Monday board in here, so we can see the content that's been created for this. Now, what often happens is perhaps as a marketing team, you will have these ideas, you will brainstorm them, and then you'll add your images. Maybe it's if you're developing a product, or if you are planning your annual OKRs, you will put all of this onto your board. And then often what happens is you'll screenshot it from your whiteboard or from your Monday board and put it into a PowerPoint presentation. Now, an amazing feature that Work Canvas has that's unique to it is the ability to take what the work that you've done and actually put it into presentations really quickly, so there's no need for screenshots. And how we do this is by creating a frame. So if we just select we're going to create that frame, you'll see it creates frame 1 for us. And what that then means is if we go to present, you will see it essentially creates a PowerPoint presentation for us. So if we then select and add more frames, we can just flip through it. So there's no need to transfer this information outside of Work Canvas. You can actually go into a meeting and present your results. So that is quite a nifty feature that we really like, and it's quite useful in many use cases. So this was a really quick overview of how you can brainstorm ideas, put them into Monday, and actually have visibility of how those actions are being put into practice. So now that we've showed you how to do this, what we're going to do next is Vicky will let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. We are going to just talk about some other use cases of how you can take what we've shown you today and actually use it in other ways in your business. So I spoke about OKRs, but something else that's quite handy is org charts. This is a feature that we know a lot of Monday customers has asked about. How do I create an org chart? Now, again, creating an org chart in a very structured environment like Monday can be quite troublesome. But when we are using Work Canvas, it can be very good to show. Let me just do this. So when you're using Work Canvas, you can brainstorm, put your sticky notes in terms of your organizational chart, and actually then transform that into an employee directory with status columns that could be the roles of people. So this is one way that you can do that. Something else is a SWOT analysis, perhaps, if you are trying to understand how you compare against your competitors. That's another way that you can then do brainstorming or do a SWOT analysis on Work Canvas and actually put action items against those ideas that you come up with in terms of how to beat your competitors. So on the screen, you will see a couple of ideas of how you can use Work Canvas and turn those into actions. And then Vicky is going to wrap it up and leave some final thoughts. Again, if you have any questions, post them in the box and we'll get back to you after this webinar.
Great. Yes. So what we really just wanted to show today is that at Monday, we understood that it's not always the best platform for the ideas phase, the whiteboarding. That's why we've created Work Canvas is one of our products. We've launched multiple products this year from Monday.com, and Work Canvas is one of the ones that I think is particularly applicable, particularly for scaling businesses when you want to you don't want to step away from Monday, you want it fully integrated and have somewhere you can do your unstructured work, your brainstorming, your whiteboarding. Say you have a project like a webinar and you want to be creative in ways that you could do that in a whiteboarding tool, transition that into Monday, which is the direct tasks, assign those out, and then eventually produce the product out the other end. So I hope that maybe you guys have thought a little bit of how you can use it in your instances. Like you say, Tania, it might be a marketing campaign, so you want to brainstorm the marketing campaign in Work Canvas, transition those tasks into actionable items into Monday, and then out the other end, produce the marketing campaign. But Tania, if you want to just pop to the next one, if you do want to see what your specific use case, what it looks like in Work Canvas, Monday.com's Work Canvas, let's scan the QR code and we can have a quick chat, have an understanding of what that workflow would look like. We can get you set up on the tool and do a demo of how the unstructured is able to meet the structured in Monday.com. But yeah, thank you very much for listening, and thank you for bearing with us with the technical issues. They always seem to pop up, particularly on live streams. So, Tania, I'll hand it back to you. But thank you very much.
Thanks, Vicky. So thank everyone for joining us today. Again, like Vicky said, of course, technical issues will always come up if you're on a live event. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for joining us today. Obviously, we know your time is precious, so we kept it short and sweet. I'm going to leave this QR code on the screen for a little bit. So please scan the code, get your demo booked in. And as a last one, thank you very much, Vicky, for joining us today and sharing your really great insights with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.